thank you. Unsuspecting customers are being sold illicit alcohol containing methanol at licensed bottle shops, a new investigation has found. Experts are warning that concerning amounts of dangerous chemicals and plastics have been detected. To tell us more, we're joined this afternoon by the lead author of this study, Dr. Michaela Kowalski. Doctor, thanks so much for joining us. What did your investigation find? And this is bottle shops right across the country.
Yeah, so we've been to bottle shops across New South Wales, Victoria and Queensland so far. We've been to over 200 bottle shops, and we've actually found products that like these illicit products in 30% of the bottle shops we've gone to. In this particular study, we had a chance to get chemical testing done on 4 different products. 3 of them we thought were illicit. 1 of them we kind of wanted to control. We wanted a benchmark of what's supposed to be in a bottle of vodka, so we got a popular, reputable brand. The reputable brand was completely fine. It had what you want to find in it, which is just the ethanol and no contaminants. One of these illicit products was also clean, was also okay, just the ethanol, no contaminants. But the 2 other bottles that we tested actually both had plasticizers, and they both had methanol in them as well at different levels. One of the bottles actually had methanol at 10 times the allowable limit in Australia, because it's regulated. There's a limit to how much methanol you can actually have in a bottle of vodka, and this was 10 times that amount.
How concerning is that?
Very concerning. It raises real questions for product quality control. There's also questions of, this is what we know now, and it's showing that there's kind of not that concern for quality control. So there may be bottles out there that have even higher levels than what we've found.
So, Doctor, I understand there's not regulations for bottle shops on where they can buy the alcohol from. Is that correct?
That's right. So legally in Australia, you need to actually have a liquor licence from the state government to sell alcohol. But if you're a bottle shop owner, you're not actually required to make sure that your supplier is licensed. So there's kind of this missing gap in our regulations that unfortunately bad actors are taking advantage of.
In regards to the health consequences for this type of levels, you said dangerously high than what's supposed to be in those bottles of alcohol. What kind of health consequences could that have for people if they consume it and consume it unknowingly?
So we do think people are consuming this unknowingly, unfortunately. With the levels we found, we're not yet concerned about methanol poisoning, which is good news. The good news is this should not be enough to actually cause methanol poisoning, because methanol poisoning can actually cause blindness and even death, which is what we saw overseas in the illicit alcohol markets that they've got there. This is less than that, which is good. That's a good thing. We don't want that to be sold to people in Australia. That said, the fact that we found it at all raises questions of is that even possible? Could this be happening? And it could be causing side effects that people are not expecting, such as extra headaches, feeling much more intoxicated than they were planning to be, even seizures. So it can cause those types of effects. There's also long-term consequences to swallowing plasticizers and also the methanol that are kind of extra health concerns than you would have additionally to what you would expect from regular alcohol, like organ damage and cancer.
So what needs to happen here? Clearly there's a loophole that the authorities may not be aware of how serious this is.
So we've actually convened a roundtable earlier this year. We had people attend from across the country, from the liquor control departments, from the health departments, police units, Australian Taxation Office and Border Force, and everyone's in agreement that the kind of action is required. We'll take kind of a whole of government response, if you will. There's regulatory changes to introduce, things like requiring that you do actually check that your supplier is licensed. We could also potentially look at introducing things that they do in other countries, like in the European Union, they randomly test all the alcohol that's available for purchase, and something like that would go a long way to giving consumers confidence that they're actually buying, that what they're buying is actually what it says it is.
Thank you for doing this work, highlighting this massive issue, because something needs to happen pretty quickly. Thanks for joining us, Doctor. Much appreciated.
Pleasure. Thank you.